Welcome to the Taieb Air Show. We're here with Plane Crazy Down Under, and we're going to bring you as much of the show as we can. We've just had some great chats with a couple of interesting people in front of various aircraft, and there's lots more. Our dance card is pretty full, isn't it, mate?
Yes, it's a very overcast day here at Taieb. We've been watching the weather all week coming in. It's been raining. In fact, half the state's flooded, actually, which is a bit of a problem, but the sun's come out, as you can see, so we're hoping for a good day.
I was your I suppose, quintessential plane spotter kid. Yep. All I ever wanted to do was fly, and I joined the Air Force, and 30 years later I'm still here. CT4 is was the mainstay trainer that we had for many, many years, sort of probably from mid-70s to early, about 1989. Yep. So it was the mainstay of our initial basic training. So pilots would come into the Air Force, they would do about 65 hours on the CT4, and then proceed across to Pearce in WA. And for a great many years they finished on the Mackie, which was a jet trainer, and then later on they would complete their training on the PC9, which was a replacement to the Mackie.
Now these are three-quarter scale P-51s?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and they've got a V8 engine in them, haven't they?
Yeah, the two of them have got small block Chev V8s, just standard Corvette engines, and the new Stuart one's got a big block, got a 502 Chev in it.
It did sound a lot like a Revhead Hoon car when you were doing it at Point Cook last week.
Yeah, it's pretty noisy. Yeah, you'll be hearing it a bit later on.
We're standing here in front of your beautiful Ryan, and how long have you had it?
I bought this aeroplane about 6 months ago. It used to be based here at Taieb, owned by Peter Bernardi and Bob Atwater, and I was lucky enough to get to purchase it off them, and it's just a treasure to own and fly. Now, what year was it made? It was built on the 21st of May 1941. It is a lovely aeroplane to fly. It's quite hard to fly. It's very heavy and it's got a high rate of sink. Mm-hmm. And sitting back in the rear cockpit back there with the radial engine out the front, you actually get no forward visibility at all. You can't see the runway. If you see the runway, that's not a good thing.
You're diving too much.
Because it's usually out to the side and you don't like that.
Could you tell us what a Pelican is?
Pelican's a Russian-designed twin-engine amphibian. This is fairly popular in Russia, but it's the only one here in Australia. I've been building it now for about 6 years, and I'm still battling away with it.
How long do you think until you've got it finished?
Well, it could be any amount of time, because as we all know, the weight of the paper must exceed the weight of the aircraft before it's allowed to fly.
When I was 19 and 20, actually when I was 20, I went for a ride with a friend of mine who flew model aeroplanes, but just went solo in a Pit Special S2A, a bit bigger than this one, but with 2 seats. And that got me hooked. That was on a Sunday afternoon, and then Monday morning I was at Royal Newcastle Aero Club trying to get my pilot's licence. So then I worked away at getting my GFPT, and I actually then, as soon as I'd done my GFPT, I didn't finish my private licence straight away. I went to Phil Unicum at Action Aerobatics, and I started doing emergency manoeuvre training and flying the Pit Special S2A, which was really good. So I sort of didn't stop then. I just kept doing it a couple of times a week. And it wasn't too long after that, then Phil got me up to speed. I soloed the S2A, and then I actually competed in my first competition at Parkes in the graduate class in Phil's S2A, which I actually won. So I was actually at a stage where I could compete in aerobatic competition. However, I didn't have a PPL to fly to and from the event. So
that's awesome.
I had to go there in the front of the S2A, but then when we got there, I could still fly the event. So I knew, as soon as I started, I knew my career. I wanted to do as much aerobatic flying as I could.
So I'd been doing a lot of flying with the RAF Museum as a private pilot or as a commercial pilot. So we'd done a lot of the SOPs, but it was really easy to have someone like BD who'd come out of the roulettes who said, like, we do this and this and this. And they would say, how about this? He'd say, no, that doesn't work. Okay, so we don't do that. And we kept it, when you watch the whole show, it's a simple show. We haven't changed it much over the last 12 years.
No.
But it works fine, it looks good, we've got smoke and noise, so it works very successfully.
We've definitely got the noise of the Harvards.
Yeah, it's great. And look, the whole thing about it is that we're not a professional full-time team, and we don't pretend to be. We know we all have limitations, so we've designed it to be very simple so that we can put it together very quickly. And without using up the beautiful old aeroplanes' energy and time too much, and we look after them as well as we can.
Well, this is a Harvard or a Texan. If you're the Americans tend to call them Texans, the New Zealanders and the British call them Harvards, and they were World War II training aircraft that trained a lot of pilots during the Second World War as part of the Commonwealth flight training scheme to supply pilots for the war both in Europe and in Asia. And they're a lovely thing to fly. There's quite a few of them around in Australia. I think we've got just over 10 flying, right. And they keep you honest. There's a saying out there: if you can fly a Harvard, you can fly just about any of the other warbirds, because they are quite a tricky aeroplane on the ground if you let them get a little bit sideways in a crosswind, because you've got a fairly narrow track undercarriage and quite a long fuselage, so they tend to want to weathercock into wind. And also with a crosswind, they're prone to lifting a wing if you don't keep the aileron into wind as the tail's coming down. So they're a very good trainer, and most pilots that progress onto things like the Mustang or the Spitfire or the Kitty Hawk need to have quite a few hours in the Harvard beforehand.
One part of the display that, the high-speed stuff is fantastic. Standing up there when you've got it right on the edge, when you're just hanging it off the prop, what sort of power settings you got in there? Is that just full on, or you're managing the torque, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's full on, and what I'll do is I'll actually get it up there, I'll slow the plane down with the throttle, then as it comes to a stop I'll bring the power in, and then I'll actually even increase RPM, and I'll play the RPM to control the torque. I can't put the same RPM in when I'm going fast, because the tips go supersonic. So when I'm stopped though, I can run higher RPM. So I'll wind it up, but then when it starts to torque on me, I'll bring some RPM out.
Are you holding it there with aileron to counter the torque, or?
I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm slapping the controls. So I'm doing that, and I'm doing that, I'm doing this, and I hold my tongue out and my mouth a little bit sideways, and it all seems to work.
Well, wasn't that a great day down here at Taieb at the air show?
I tell you what, we've had a fantastic day here, and as we stand here now, it's rather sunny. It was quite gloomy before we started off proceedings here today, but as it turned out, the wind came around and blew a lot of the rain away, and all things considered, it's been a very good air show here for Taieb 2012.
That's right. Unfortunately, the wind that blew away all that rain also made it a bit hard for a couple of the acts. The Southern Knights couldn't come out and fly their 5-ship element with the Harvards. They had to transfer into the T-28 Trojans, and 3 of them did a cutback aerobatics routine and formation in T-28 Trojans instead of the T-6 Harvards.
I'll tell you what, I didn't feel very ripped off about that. I love T-28s, they're fantastic. No. In fact, I think GDP actually pointed out during the commentary that this is the first time they'd flown as the Trojan Knights, so they might have started something here this year.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. They're not so much noisier than the Harvards, because the tips aren't breaking the sound barrier, but they're an impressive set of aircraft, and definitely a good rumble.
Absolutely. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed this video presentation of the Taieb 2012 Air Show. The audio version will be episode 85 of Playing Crazy Down Under, and you can find that at playingcrazydownunder.com. Boy, it's noisy here, Grant, as all these aircraft are departing. There must be an airport around here.
I think it's an indication we need to depart and make an immediate direct track for a pub.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me, folks. I think we'll sign off there. Until next time, I'm Steve Fisher.
And I'm Grant McCarran.
Cheers, folks.